What's happening, Hardscapers? Today we're going to be talking about using string line to screed your pavers, when, how, and why you should be using string line in your installations. Let's get into this. So string lines can be definitely helpful when you're planning your project and during the excavation and base preparation phase, as well as once you get to the screeding phase for your pavers. Other tools that can definitely help you are a rotary laser level or even a high precision altimeter. All of these tools really help you, and I use them in my business, but ultimately string lines can be really helpful, especially when you're just starting out, to be able to measure down from to make sure that your excavation is uniform and that your base preparation is being installed uniform, as you want your subgrade in your base to mimic the pitch of your pavement surface, which is 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch per foot slope. And string lines help you establish that all the way up to your screed layer to make sure that you are getting the level of your pavers at the level that you want them to be at. Now, establishing your string line is easier for a driveway because you already have a starting point and ending point to that driveway. The starting point being the garage floor, the ending point being the sidewalk or the road. And that's going to be your string line, just setting that up nice and easily from those 2 points. However, with a walkway or a patio, that gets a little bit more challenging as you need to decide where you're going to start your string line. And this typically means knowing what the threshold is from the door coming out, if it's a backyard patio, and deciding how many steps you're going to install there to be able to establish the starting point of your patio or the starting level of your patio. We usually install our steps about 7 inches rise, so we will measure down from that threshold from the door to be able to understand where our starting point for that patio is going to be. For example, if it's a 14-inch drop from that door down to where the grass is or the ground currently is, we are going to do 2 steps down, and that's going to be the start of our patio. 2 steps being 2 7-inch steps to get our 14 inches, and that's our starting point for our patio. We can then establish our string lines, and knowing the initial starting point of our patio, you can tie a string line to each of these stakes, and starting from that point where you know the start of the pavement surface, you can level each line from each stake using a string line level. So start with that first stake, tie it to the next stake, and then put a string line level on that to ensure that it's level in the middle of those, and adjust as you need. At this point, you can use your rotary laser level or your high precision altimeter to set a benchmark of 0 for that point to which you are tying your string line, being the top of the pavement surface. You can then set your string lines using that 0 point to ensure each of them is at that 0 point, or just continue with your string line level to ensure those string lines are level. Once your string line is tied to all of your stakes, you can then apply your 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch per foot slope, whatever you decide to do, by measuring from the initial stake down to the stake at the very far end, so that you're making sure that that slope is moving away from the foundation. And with that measurement, you can apply your slope. So if your measurement from the foundation to the stake at the end is 8 feet, and you're gonna apply a 1/8 of an inch per foot slope, your total slope is going to be 1 inch. That's 8 feet times 1/8 of an inch to give us 8 out of 8 or 1 inch. So with our string line level, we can actually measure down that string line 1 inch to lower that string line by 1 inch, and that is our slope that's going to mimic the top of the paver surface. At this point, and hopefully prior to this, you decided if you're going to build a raised patio or if you are going to build it on the existing grade, and possibly even build up a little bit at the end of the patio, depending on where that paver lies. You can continue on the other end of those stakes to add that slope onto it. And with that, you have your slope of the paver patio. You know the surface of your pavement with these string lines. You can then continue with your excavation as you see fit to be able to measure down from the top of the string line to the subgrade to ensure that you are excavating a uniform patio. Your subgrade needs to mimic the surface of the pavement as best as possible. As you excavate, you can tie your string lines diagonally to be able to check whether or not you are the correct measurement down from the surface of your paver to the subgrade. This calculation is the height of the pavers plus the 1-inch bedding layer, plus the depth of your base, whatever that might be, where you can measure down from the string line to the subgrade to ensure that you are at the right amount. At this point, your string lines take into factor your slope, so you do not need to worry so much about the slope of your patio and that measurement changing, because your slope is already taken into consideration with your string lines. From there, and you're preparing your base, if you need to do your base in lifts, you can continue to measure down from your string lines at the correct measurement. Once you get to the top of your base preparation, you're measuring down the height of the pavers plus the 1-inch bedding layer to ensure that you are very uniform with that top of base surface. And this is where you're ready to start screeding. And all screeding essentially is setting screed bars into your base at no more than about an inch for that screed layer and following the slope of your string lines. So you can actually measure down from your string lines to that top of screed bar to get that height of the paver measurement to ensure that your screed bars are following the level of your pavement surface. Once you're screeded in, you can then lay your pavers, and that paver should line up with the top of that string line. String lines are extremely handy, especially if you are using string line collars to be able to easily adjust your string lines as you see fit. You may need to do this constantly throughout the paver project, depending on how many days it spans, as well as if string lines get kicked around or you need to remove some to be able to excavate or prepare the base in any way during the project. If you're installing a synthetic base along with your pavers, you also need to take that into consideration. So measuring the height of the pavers plus the height of the synthetic base, which is typically 3/4 of an inch, and adding those together to get to the top of your screed bar. So you're measuring down from your string line to the top of the screed bar with that measurement. This is how string lines really help in laying a paver project to ensure that your subgrade is at the correct level throughout your paver project, to ensure that your base is prepared to the correct level throughout your paver project, and then to prepare your screed layer to prepare for laying your pavers. Even after that, string lines really help to ensure that your lines are nice and straight for your paver project. This is essential when preparing, say, a running bond pattern or really any pattern to ensure that your lines are staying nice and straight. As you lay, you may want to check time and time again after you've completed to a certain point in your laying by laying a string line across just to ensure that you're nice and straight, and you may need to adjust some pavers as you continue to lay. I hope this video has helped you in some way with string lines as well as screeding your paver project. We've got many other hardscape installation videos on this channel, as well as there's a link in the description to an article on what I just talked about to help you further on howtohardscape.com. And if you want to learn more about hardscaping through courses, we've got those available to you on the How to Hardscape members only platform. We've got hardscape installation courses, features, and even courses on getting to know your numbers and operating a successful hardscaping business. That link is also going to be in the description below. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments section below. I respond to everybody. Like this video if you found it at all helpful. That really helps me with this channel and to bring you more hardscaping content, and subscribe to this channel for more hardscaping content. Thank you so much for watching.